Album of the Week, episode 75. Alright guys, so if you've been following me for a while, you know every 25, and this is 75, I do a random album. Not random, but random. I go to Goodwill and I randomly pick an album. I started off doing completely random, but then, the first one I picked was like a classical organ thing, and I was like, yeah, it is random, but it's not as funny, And 50 was Mariah Carey, and then I went to Goodwill and I picked this.
All right, Adam, here are your choices. You got some good ones there. Go for it. Pick your poison.
This one.
Are you sure?
Yep. I like to wiggle.
So yeah, I like to wiggle. Captain Music presents I Like to Wiggle. I was actually surprised at how decent the music is on here. Now the lyrics are it's a kid's album and all that stuff. Let me just read the tracks on here. So there's 12 tracks, and we've got Come On In, Dalmatian Disco, Elephant Parade, I Like to Wiggle, the name of the album, Leapfrog, I Don't Know How to Dance, Can't Get Up in the Morning, Barrel of Monkeys, Alligator Snap, Kangaroo Hop, Games We Play, and Trampoline. So this, like I said, this album isn't too bad. It's a jazz album. There were lots of, I noticed some I forget which one it was, but one of them is a rhythm changes, I think, in jazz, and then one of them sounded just like the beginning of Sing 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 with that opening drum solo. That I sang it very poorly, but it had that same opening, so it's getting kids to listen to music even though they don't realize it, but you're learning. This is definitely heavily jazz influenced, I would say. More the, not modern jazz at all, but more the early jazz to the 50s, 60s style of jazz music, and it's some of them aren't. Some of them are really kiddie and stuff, but a lot of them are pretty okay. And there's the lyrics are in all of this here. Let me just read you some. Let's do I Like to Wiggle. Walking is nice. It gets me where I'm going on a sunny afternoon, but there's something else that I'm really good at I can do at my school, or in my yard, or even in my room. I like to wiggle. Wiggle on the ground. I like to wiggle. Wiggle all around. Wiggle, 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 wiggle on the ground. Wiggle, 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 wiggle all around. Wiggle, 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 wiggle in my chair. Wiggle, 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 wiggle everywhere. Wiggle everywhere. I know my girlfriend Lauren is just dying laughing right now, but it's kind of catchy, actually. There's other songs on here that are pretty good, but anyways, let me just find the trumpet player on here is John Pendenza, and he sounds great. Let me just run down the rest of the musicians on here, but all the arrangements were written by Lee Romano, and the music was performed by Lee Romano, on a Korg N364 music workstation, with the following exceptions, which include the trumpet player, John Pendenza, the trombone and euphonium player, Doug Rothhauser, and then there's additional digital sound effects by Chris Hetting. So it's pretty good. It's a pretty good album. I think this is like the second in a series or something. There's other albums by Captain Music. While I did like it, I most likely will not do more album reviews from Captain Music unless I happen to fall upon it on these 25 markers, because then it's a possibility. But again, I I mean, obviously this wasn't the most enlightening music that I've ever listened to, but I was very impressed with the music and the actual, you know, it's getting kids to listen to more complex music, even if they might not really realize it, but it gets it in their ear and started on that journey if they so choose to go down that path. So, surprisingly, a pretty good album. So I'm gonna keep this. Maybe my kids one day can jam to I Like to Wiggle. It's pretty good. So there's that. Fun, right? Next week we'll be taking a look at Brahms Symphony No. 2 and the Hungarian dances. So complete shift on what we're looking at. But this is with the London Philharmonic Orchestra under Marin Alsop. And it includes the entire Symphony No. 2 from Brahms, and then selections from the Hungarian dances. We got 1, 3, 10, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. And 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 were all orchestrated by Dvorak, where the first three that I listed, 1, 3, and 10, were orchestrated by Brahms. So excited to check this out next week. Both I Like to Wiggle and this will be linked below if you want to check it out. This might be on Spotify. I'm not sure. If it is, it'll be linked below. So thanks so much for watching. If you like the video, thumbs up, subscribe, bell button so you don't miss any other videos. Comment below if you have any suggestions on how I can make this series better, as well as if you have any suggestions, any albums that you want me to take a look at. If they are similar to I Like to Wiggle, I most likely will unfortunately not be able to take those requests, but I will consider them. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next week.